Welcome back. Let's cover for loops and while loops. For loops just tell Java to run a block of code multiple times. You can tell it to run 10 times specifically, or until some condition is met, or you can loop over an array. Here's what a for loop looks like. So you use the keyword for, then some parentheses, then some squirrely braces. Then you have initialization. This is where you define your number, so int I is equal to 0. Then your condition, it will keep running until this condition is met. In this case, it just goes up to 10. And then update, this is how you want your iterator to update. So in this case, we're just saying I++, which just means add 1 to I. Okay, so to do a for loop, you say for, open and close parentheses, and open and close curly braces. That's our basic syntax. Then inside our parentheses, we say int, so we define an integer. We always call it I. You don't have to call it I, but that's just convention. We'll start counting at 0, semicolon. I is less than 10. This means this is going to keep running until I is 10 or greater. And then I++. Remember, the plus iterator increments it by 1. So at this point, we're just going to print out I. So when we run this, we can see it started counting at 0. It then went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it stopped. So the way this works is on the first run through, I is equal to 0. It then runs all of the code in here. It then comes back up here and iterates. So then it iterates from 0 plus 1. So now I is equal to 1. But then it checks, is I still less than 10? Which it is, so then it runs the code again. Then it comes back up, iterates. Now I is equal to 2. It checks, is I still less than 10? Yes. Runs all of the code again, comes back up, and keeps doing this. Eventually, I gets to 9. 9 is less than 10, so it runs all the code again, but when it comes back up here to the iterator, it gets changed to 10. 10 is not less than 10, so that tells it to break out of this loop. It comes back down here, and then it keeps running. Let's go ahead and change this to 5. And then you don't have to start at 0. You could start it at 1. So if we run this, it starts at 1 and counts up to 4. Instead of I++, you can change this to I plus equals 2. Now every time it goes through the loop, it's going to iterate by 2 instead of 1. So now it only prints out 1 and 3. We can also count backwards. So instead of starting at 1, let's start at 5. Then we'll say I is greater than 1, and then I minus minus. And so now we count from 5 and keep going until we hit 2. So depending on the things you put in here, you can make it do whatever you want. A really good use case for loops is looping over an array. So let's say string array fruits is equal to, and we'll create a new array. And let's just start over to keep it simple. So again, arrays start counting at 0. So we're going to say int I is equal to 0. We're then going to count until we get through all of the fruits. So I is less than fruits dot length. And then we're going to say I++. And we'll start by just printing out fruits at the index I. If I run this, you can see that it iterated over my entire array, peach, strawberry, and orange, printing each one to the console. Of course, you can do a bunch of fancy things. So if you want to call to uppercase and then exclamation mark, you can of course do that. So this is just printing out to the console. Of course, you can change the array if you want to. So instead, I'm going to delete this print line statement. At the end, I'm going to call print, and then I'm going to say arrays.toString, and I'm going to pass in fruits. And what I want to do is I want to change each value in the array. So I'm going to say fruits at index I is equal to fruits at index I, and then I'm going to call to uppercase, and then I'm going to append an exclamation mark. So what this did is it took fruits at index I, made it uppercase, added an exclamation mark, and then saved it back to the fruit array. So it actually changed the underlying array. And there you have it. This can also work with array lists. So let's go ahead and make an array list. Instead of fruits.length, since this is an array list, we have to call fruits.size. So then we do fruits.get at index I. This is equivalent to fruits at index I. I'm then going to call .toUppercase plus exclamation mark. This is equivalent to this part of the code. We then need to set it. So we're going to say fruits.set at index I, and then we're going to set it to this value. I'll then delete the old array code. And of course, I'll delete this code we don't need anymore. And you can see we had the exact same effect. So it works for array lists and arrays. Of course, the syntax is slightly different depending on which one you're going to use. Okay, so next up we have an enhanced for loop. So what if you're iterating over an array or an array list, but you don't need the index? You're just printing to the console, for example. You can eliminate some of your syntax by using an enhanced for loop. So you can see below, I don't have to include int I is equal to 0, an iterator, all of that. I'm just saying, hey, this is an array of strings, so I have to say for string. I then give it a variable name to reference each one in the list, so fruit, and then I have to actually give it the name of the array. So this syntax is a little bit easier if you don't need the index. So in this case, I already have an array list. I then call the for syntax, and then I need to give it a data type. So this is an array list of strings, so I have to give it a string data type. I then need just a variable name. I'm just going to call it x, and then colon, and then I need to tell it what do you iterate over. So our name of our array list is fruits, so then I say fruits. Then I'm just going to print x plus exclamation mark, and this x is just saying as you go through the list, what do I call each thing? So when it gets to peach, x will be peach. When it gets to strawberry, x will be strawberry. So when I run this, you can see it printed out exactly what we expected. Next up, we have for each loops. This is my personal favorite. So this is a method call on the list itself. So you can see fruits.forEach, then you have to give it a variable name, x, and then you use a lambda function. So let's see it in action. We still have our array list of fruits. I then call fruits dot, and you can see the method for each. I give it a variable name of x, and then a lambda function, and then open and close curly braces. I can then do whatever I want with the variable x. So I can say print x plus exclamation mark, and then it loops through the entire list, adding an exclamation mark as expected. One thing to think about is that this method call, this only works on array lists. Again, array lists have extra functionality. This does not work on an array. So for an array, you will have to use an enhanced for loop. Next up, we have a while loop. A while loop keeps going until some condition is met. I like to think of it as a combination of an if statement and a for loop. So you can see while true, and then it prints something out. So true, that's where you put your condition, and the condition works the exact same way as an if statement, something that results in a Boolean. This block of code specifically is bad because true is always equal to true, so this will just keep printing out infinitely. This is actually an infinite loop. So let's go ahead and make our infinite loop to see what happens. So I say while, open and close parentheses, open and close curly braces, and then for now I'll just put in true, and then I'm going to print out hi. When I run this, you can see that hi just keeps getting printed out infinitely. So instead, we want some sort of condition. So let's say int I is equal to 0, and then we'll say while I is less than 10. Now this isn't enough because a while loop doesn't automatically increment like a for loop does, so we have to manually do it. So what we can do is say I plus plus, and we can see that it printed hi 10 times and then stopped. So let's also add in plus I so we can see what's happening. We can see it started at 0, it went up to 9, and then stopped. So make sure you have some sort of condition that stops the loop. Last up, we do have a do while loop, which is like an extension of a while loop. What this does is it does execute the block of code in the do block at least once before it checks the condition. So this is guaranteed to run at least once. I personally have never used this in my career, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time covering it. It's kind of like a switch statement. You don't really use it in real life very often. But I do want you to be aware of it in case you run into it. Okay, and as always, do the homework. Good luck.